This is a little bit of an energy reading for the moon leaving the opposition with Uranus. And so sextiling Venus, with Venus trining Uranus. And I'll read it to you. It's called Creation. My sovereignty must not be your death. So don't come for my sovereignty. All doors to abundance open for me. It must not be your demise, so don't place no curses at my door. And this is energy reading for the collective, okay? So I'm not a tarot reader or anything like that, but I understand that there is some sort of something going on. And this is my value, my contribution to the collective. And that is, right now we are creating an even deeper sense of sovereignty, wealth, and well being. That's what's happening. That's the truth. Now, as with any change, different beings at different places find it different levels of dealing with change, okay? The old ways of cults, whether it's masonry or tribes or something like that, have included a lot of culture that is not cultural, okay? And so you can really feel that when you create something deeper and you set your boundaries. And I like the notion, the psychological notion that the boundary is a door. Okay? It's not a wall, it's a door. And that door must be respected. Okay? You can have a house with the door open. It doesn't mean that somebody doesn't ask whether they can come in or not, right? So, first, the door doesn't have to even be closed to be a boundary. Okay? And secondly, if somebody asks if you can come, if they can come in, and they can come in, or if there is a place where the door is open, let's say if you have a tent for travelers, okay, so that then the door is open for that tent, and people can come in or take food or whatever they need, or go to sleep, and whatever they need. And so respect for those boundaries is, of course, a given, so that there can be peace, right? So that we can enjoy, so that people can travel. And so when people try to disrespect that and they place a curse, what you hear as that curse backfires, and it does, is that they feel very miserable. Because basically, even if you don't say return to sender, they basically feel for their curse, okay? And they have to learn that this is a door, and even when it's open, you can't come in. And if you place curses to try to make this door open, or to try to make anybody acquiesce to your demands, you will suffer a lot. Again, creation. Okay? My sovereignty must not be your death. So don't come for my sovereignty. That should be a given, right? Unfortunately, there are a lot of cultures and places or masonries or lodges where does not stand still. Or they have courses, or they have to do something or whatnot. And so this is all people in various languages and cultures and origins, whether tribal or lodges, even people from the lodges. You hear a lot of sovereignty talk in the lodges. Okay, people begin to understand that, You can't place curse like it's gonna pop up, you know. All doors to abundance open for me. It must not be your demise. So don't place no curses at my door. Okay? Because placing curses at my door here means that is your demise, right? My sovereignty must not be your death, okay? And sovereignty is a very Aries word. And Aries is ruled by Mars for a reason. Aries is the sign of the self. And Aries in Aries denotes of the sovereignty of those that were not necessarily with the consensus, okay? So you think about Aries in the 2050s, Aries will arrive at Taurus, and we'll hear a lot about the single woman. And we will, if I think about Taurus, it teaches us a lot about connection. If we did Aries right, okay, if we did Aries right, we have sovereignty. Aries is the head of the baby, so a baby is born sovereign. Okay, and you know that when a baby cries and you give it food and he takes the food and he eats. When you give it food and he doesn't want it, it pews it, right? It's a sovereign being. Okay, babies are sovereign. Anybody, I did not give birth, but I heard a lot of stories of women that give birth, or men that give birth, have a womb, and there is this notion of like, hey, it wants to come out when it wants to come out. So sometimes we would need to facilitate with technology or stuff like that, but like the baby wants to come out when it wants to come out. Okay, it's a sovereign being. It will come out when it will come out. I stayed for 10 months in my mom's belly for a reason. I mean, May is more spring than, like April, but I still love April. Sun in Taurus, come on, you would really want me sun in, like, I don't want to. You think about me with another luminary, like with the luminary in Aries? I don't, yeah. But okay, think about a child. A child growing sovereign would be, don't oppress or enslave it. Then it will tell you what it wants, what it doesn't want, when it wants to come back, when it doesn't want to come back. Okay? And there are ways to work with this sovereignty. Okay, we really need to allow for time. One way to work is to remind that we are also sovereign beings. Okay, and then, but if you go outside, let's say to the mall, and the child wants to stay there, and you're like, well, I'm also a sovereign being, I want to go back home. And the child says, well, leave me here for a while. If you were in Finland, that would not be a problem. But we need to have the word respectful of sovereignty of children to say, okay, I can leave you here. I leave you with some communication device. And then when you want to come back, or if you're in trouble, then call me. That should be the answer, right? Go ahead, have some fun, enjoy the place, take a look at the place. In Finland, you can leave a baby in the wagon and go to the grocery store and leave it napping in the snow with warm clothes and come back. And you're not afraid that somebody's going to steal it and traffic it and sell its organs. Nobody calls you a bad mom. Okay? So don't come for my sovereignty. And this is a very Aryan notion. It's a Mercury hour. I have Mercury in Aries natally. But Mercury right now is also in the sign of freedom, which is Sagittarius, and it's retrograde. Okay, my sovereignty must not be your death. Like, hey, like, there's no reason for you to come for my sovereignty. All doors to abundance open for me. And you see, abundance can be very triggering on people that are used to growing curse cults because they're used to sacrifice for something. They want a baby, they kill a baby. It doesn't make sense. It's upside down. But they grow in a world that is upside down. And so a lot of the channelings that we were receiving and the updates that we were receiving is like all doors to abundance open for me. You think about the baby coming to the world, okay? Granted, it came naturally to the world, okay? Not from rape, not from stealing sperm or extortion or anything like that. And so it comes to the world. The parents have food, the parents have accommodation, the parents make the room and make the bed months in advance. Sometimes they buy a new house for the baby. There's an entire living, breathing, there's an entire arrangement that is done for that baby. Okay. And so the natural belief is all doors to abundance are open for me. It has everything it needs with it, whether it's clothes, whether it's food, or it's nice weather, a hug, okay, a loving family. And this is unfortunately the opposite of the reality of people who grew up in cults. And so it must not be your demise. So don't place no curses at my door. Now, what happened if you did grow in a cult? Then those for you would be affirmations. Okay? Those for you would be affirmations.